All right, so doing a little update here on this zf6. Um, it's in. I'm working right now on getting the floor cut out. It's a little hard to do with the air grinder, but a little more control. But just a makeshift line of how far I want to stay in from the actual lip, so I have something to glue and just run bolts to for the floor hump. Now you can see how these floor humps are different, and this is my fault. When I had the guy cut it out, I didn't have him cut it low enough on this side. This section is different between the 5R and the ZF. I don't know what for. I think it's just the way the floor hump rolls, but there's a very good hand spot. I was gonna cut it and weld it in, but I mocked it up and flipped the carpet back over it and everything. It sits right back down in here. It'll work. Wasn't as bad as I thought. I'm gonna sweep all this out. It's amazing how much dirt gets underneath the carpet. I noticed I have some extra plugs. I believe these are for marker lights. That plug, if you have marker lights on the top of the cab. But before I can actually finish bolting the tranny in with the cross member and stuff, I have to get that cut out. Because you can see, I just cut this out so I can get it bolted in to clear this. I didn't cut it far enough forward. I had to do a little bending, which is no big deal, but it's in. But this sits above, and I have this stuffed pretty tight, so no grinding, dust, or what gets down in it. Everything is sealed up, and I am going to flush the tranny before I run it. But cut all around about 1 inch in, and I'm gonna have my dad just add a piece of sheet metal from here to here, and I will flare it around and remake my line where I need to and cut in. I'll probably end up cutting it right there, but I just wanted to get that cut out so I could get the tranny up in, or yeah, finished up in, and put the cross member back in. And I'm gonna take my drive shaft and get it cut down. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna add some sound deadener because where did I throw it? You see that? That is a insulation mat underneath the cab. Well, obviously it's for the 5R, not the ZF. But I do have another issue, which I'll have to go to Ford for, is, oh, now it wants to work. My clutch pedal wasn't returning. I guess when I put it in the truck, I must have had it upside down and it gravity fed out and lost pressure. So I might need a new master and slave cylinder underneath. And I got all this oil dry still from the automatic. So I spilled it. But I got my PTO cover on. I used a gasket and I used some silicone just in case. But it is all bolted up. Everything's in this. The front drive shaft had more than enough extension to come that 1.5 inches that I needed, so I can at least move it out of the garage if I gotta wait on the rear drive, and just put it outside and get all this explosive mess cleaned up. All my wiring I'm going to have to zip tie up and whatnot, but I need to get a new 4-wheel drive shift motor, because if you see right here, I think I showed it, this plug's broke. Advanced wants about $200 for it. I can get it off Amazon for about $100 for the same exact one, same part number, blah blah blah. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that's where we're at. The exhaust is my next challenge. If you can see, it's off right there. Yeah, I've been trying to bleed it with some .4. I'm getting some like white schmigma back up in it, so I'm sure it's just toast. I'll buy a pre-bled one from Ford and roll with it. But the exhaust, as much as I don't want to lay on the ground, I didn't feel like grabbing a creeper even though it's right over there. The exhaust and the side of the transmission do not clear one another. So what I'm going to try to do is loosen up the, if I can zoom in there. Well, I'm going to loosen up the clamp on the back of the turbo and see if I can swing it away, and I'll see if I can get my pipe up in there. And if I need to dent the side, I will. Sure as heck beats trying to fight that back down and out of there and put a 3.5-inch down pipe out of a stock truck back in. I do have the adapter flange over there for it. And go to the 4. So I'd rather not do that. But if it needs done, it needs done. But this floor hump is the worst part of it, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm just using a little die grinder going along slow. I know this line's kind of crude. I just freehand drew it instead of tracing out the actual floor hump, which is no big deal. At least I can be able to cut some more if I need to. Blah, blah, blah. And the final thing is the wiring. Like I've said before, all I gotta do is have my phone light on because I knew it was a little dark. All I gotta do is pop these off. I know the wire pins. Cut it, ground them. Same to get it to start. It's in this one. Cut it. I'm going to use one of these upfitter switch wires that just run actually next to where the clutch interlock switch is at, and jump it. And I think for the neutral safety on the transfer case, I'm going to run with this wire and put it in when I ground it. So when the clutch is in, it'll see it's in neutral instead of seeing it's in neutral all the time. If that makes sense. Generally, that's really it. Outside of that, I'm going to clean the floor up and the carpet. You don't realize how much junk's underneath your seats until you take the seats out. So I'm going to clean the carpet and stuff up, and there's a lot of dirt in the floor and some screws. But it's from 2003, so I say it fared pretty well. But you know, for your seat holes, you got just these open holes, and you know, they're not perfect. But for right now, I did just take the shifter out and left the boot on and the dash. I didn't feel like pulling all this apart right now. A later date, I will put all that other stuff in. But yeah, that's generally it. I'm going to continue working on getting this floor hump out, or that out, and getting the cross member back up in, and move along on it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.